Yo, 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 yo. Why is it so quiet? Sheesh. What's up, Fanber? What's up, Masters? What's up, Ariel? No. Airtol. Sorry. Butchering names forever. One sec, guys. Darling, Quest was back from dead. What's up, mommy? Pekka, hello. Oh, guys, you have a shield next to your name now. I forgot Pekka was a monk. Genuinely forgot, guys. What's up, monkey? Monkey in the chat, guys. So chapter 824. Wow. That's like volume 6. Volume 5? I don't know, actually. Something like that. Anyway, insane stream last time, guys. We wrote so many things down, theories. Force joined the Doubt Club as a magician. So much info was added. This was such a big stream. Yeah. When using damage transfer as a marionettist on someone you control, you can put your injuries on them. Zero pathway is interchangeable with Apprentice. The goddess has imprisoned sequence zeros because there can only be one sequence zero, so it makes sense. Well, this is very far-fetched, by the way. Apprentice pathway has connections to the Grey Fog. Mr. Thor is imprisoned on the moon. The Evernight goddess imprisoned him. The Grey Fog is connected to the Moses Ascetic Order. Far-fetched again, by the way. The people of Evernight Kingdom in the Hornats Moderate will be resurrected when Klein reaches the mountain range. One of the higher sequences of Seer is called Master of Ceremonies. And blah 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 blah. Okay, let's continue. 299. I don't want to leak anything. Wait 1 second. Discord. I leaked. Of course it's Unk again. I leaked Unk's messages every single time in the past, by the way. $299. Who are you? Me? Who cares? I'm not gonna release the Indu files, come on. The Indu files will not be released. Mommy Kleinos, who are you? What are you talking about? It's me. Rogo. Oh yeah. It's just refreshing. What's up, Crowish? How are you doing? So apparently, wait, let me just minimize Discord. Rogo is hiring us to be a bodyguard for his son. But for some reason, Broski already has like 8 bodyguards. And he's offering £10. And Tanger is gonna add more money. Interesting. Rogo is a rich businessman. Let's see what happens, right? Just typing shit? What is Mommy Klein talking about? How many chapters? At least 5. Snap, because you know why I said at least 5? Because we are spending 30 minutes per chapter, so let's get into it. Snapping Fingers. Westboro, Cream Carden Street. Whoa, never mind, we can't start just yet. Let's go, Masters. Thank you for the membership. Early member for 4 months now. Thank you so much. Instice today. Yes, Instice. Instice this chapter. Klein is gonna snap his fingers and then Inst dies. I'm so over with that bit, by the way. Thank you, Masters. Westboro, Cream Garden Street. Klein with a quite stubble around his mouth for a pair of gold-rimmed glasses while carrying a top hat and black cane. He followed Rago Koloman into a spacious and bright living room. There was a huge crystal chandelier hanging from the ceiling. The walls, corners, and tables were decorated with all kinds of golden carvings and ornaments. The entire area looked gorgeous, exquisite, and luxurious. As expected of a jewelry businessman, a businessman staying in the Westboro, Klein scanned the oil paintings by the side and sighed. With every step Rogo took, the fat on his body quivered. Why did you have to describe that? Bro is walking when the ground is shaking, man. Say more. Say how he's causing an earthquake. Come on, Klein. It left people maliciously wondering when his clothes and pants would snap. However, a jewelry businessman, he had enough money to buy clothes of the best quality. Yeah, but, you know, can his fat ass really stop the clothes from snapping? Detective Moriarty, it's my son Adol. Logo stopped. Logo? Rogo, no? Pro is called Logo in this sentence. Stopped on the edge of the carpet and pointed at a boy that was 15 or 16 years old, was sitting on a single sofa. As all the fireplaces in the house were lit and there were metallic pipes to conduct the heat around, the living room was rather warm. It even made Klein feel like taking off his clothes until he only had a shirt and pair of trousers left. However, the boy was wrapped in a thick fur coat and had a blanket that looked burning hot on his leg. What? Bro is always cold? Oh, maybe he has a medical condition. Oh, okay. I think maybe he has some cold-bloodedness. I think it's I don't know the medical name, but yeah, that thing. At that moment, he had his head low, tightly hugging himself as he shivered non-stop. Or maybe he has been corrupted, or there's a Beyonder haunting him, or a spirit. His dark blue hair seemed to have lost its luster. Dark blue, huh. Rogo looked at him with concern and raised his voice slightly. Adol, this is Detective Moriarty. He'll be protecting you for today and tomorrow. At these words, Adol raised his head, revealing his pale face, his bluish lips, and his unfocused eyes. Protect me, they're going to kill me, they want to kill me. His voice became sharper and sharper. Oh, he's seeing some spirits, I think. In the end, he covered his ears with his hands and screamed. After a few seconds, he gradually calmed down. He's being haunted. Maybe it's another do evil situation here. After a few seconds, he gradually calmed down. During his process, Klein had already wrapped his molars and secretly activated spirit vision. He held back a shock that had kept up his mouth and carefully examined him again. What shock? He saw that the color of Adol's aura had been dyed with a deep blackish green sheen. This sign of being haunted by wraiths. A sign of possible possession. Oh, wraiths. Wraiths are different than spirits, right? Wraiths are like a spirits that have been spirits for a very long time. And the wraiths can also fight? No, wait. Can they? What's the difference between a wraith and a spirit? I think they can, right? Adol's bad friends are already taking revenge on him, or perhaps there were no such things as bad company at all. Yeah? Van quietly reached out, held Mr. Ozzy's copper whistle, and allowed his spirituality to spread. I'm guessing it's another two evil situation here. Then he thoughtfully looked away from Adol and looked at the other inside the living room. At the others. So, how many cards again? By the oriel windows of the man in black coat, he was tall and sturdy, not smiling, and his waist was bulging. If he was wearing a gun. Are you sure that's a gun, buddy? Maybe he's just happy to see you. This should be one of the 6 bodyguards. 6, not 8, sorry. I was about to size up another person when Rogo introduced Detective Gazalana, her assistant Lydia, Detective Stewart. At this point, Rogo turned around and pointed at Klein. This is Detective Sherlock Moriarty. Lydia? Lydia sounds familiar. What the frick? Let me search my bookmarks here. Lydia. Nope. Okay. It's a common name in my language, though. Detective Stewart and Lydia. Okay. This is Detective Sherlock Moriarty. Gaslana was in her 30s with black hair and blue eyes and thick eyebrows. She was probably a beauty when she was young. 30s? Holy fuck, you're annoying, man. What the hell? You're getting 24 hours. What's up, Alma? How are you doing? Anna was in her 30s and black hair and blue eyes and thick eyebrows. She was probably a beauty when she was young. What do you mean when she was young? She's 30 years old. But now, because of the sagging muscles on her cheeks, she didn't seem very amiable. Lydia, her assistant, was a red-haired lady about 20. Her figure was excellent. Okay, Klein, who are you to judge? But she had an average appearance. Oh. Interesting. By the way, it's not like... it's not like Klein is judging. It's just a description of the character, right? Both women were something similar to what aristocratic riders wore. They're detectives, that's why. Right? The white shirts they wore were tight and waist, which matched the more tight-fitting trousers that facilitated movement. The pleats were the only thing that distinguished their clothes from men. I see. So they're like a little bit tomboyish. They're wearing like male's clothes. In addition, they provided no concealment for the two revolvers around their waists. This reminded Klein of a saying from lawyer Jurgen that the legal possession of a gun was a sure thing for a private investigator. This was because unless one was noble, a member of parliament, or a senior civil servant, it was very difficult to obtain an all-purpose weapon permit. I see. Lack of awareness is here. Oh, the goat. Hello. Also, Insta. Anyway. I saw your comment earlier. Insta is every chapter, man. Anyway, so Kaslana and Lydia. Okay. I don't think they're Beyonders because obviously, unless confirmed, because Beyonders are very rare. I do think that, what was his name again? Isengard, the best detective of Backland, is a Beyonder though. Stuart sat opposite to Kaslana and Lydia. He had a lean face, but he grew a bushy beard. His light green eyes were unusually lively. He's about the same age as Lydia and almost as tall as Klein, a little over 1.7 meters and weighing 140 pounds. That's around like 60 kilos. 140 pounds is 60 kilos. Stuart had an underarm holster, and in it there was obviously a specially designed revolver. After exchanging pleasantries, Klein took off his coat, took off his hat, and handed it to the maidservant next to him. Put it somewhere I can retrieve it quickly from. There are some important items inside. In fact, they already transferred the paper, figurines, notes, charms, and matchbooks, etc. to these trouser pockets. The only thing left in his coat was herbal powder, extract essence, keys, and his wallet. There were a total of 206 pounds in paper pills in his wallet. Whoa, bro is carrying what? Bro is carrying 300... Wait. Bro is carrying like $40,000 around. What the hell? Also, we have two more detectives left that wasn't mentioned yet. We have Stuart, Kasalania, Kasalana and Lydia. Two more. Stuart was sitting there, turned his head to size Klein up and chuckled. You didn't bring a gun? Gun? This is my gun. Klein smiled and raised his cane. Also again, pew, 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 pew. At the same time, he puffed out his cheeks to simulate a sound. Pang. The sound of a gunshot rang out, and without thinking, Stuart rolled over while Castellan and Lydia quickly got off the sofa, each finding a place to hide. Wait, he made a bullet on accident? Rogo and servant beside him were both surprised and confused about what was happening. Adol continued keeping his head low as he shivered. When they saw that Klein was only holding onto a black cane and realized that nothing would happen. Oh my god, they got shook from that. Holy! As Lana and company calmed down, they frowned and asked, "What just happened? Ever since I handed the revolver I picked up to the police, I've been learning how to imitate its sound. It seems to be quite effective." Oh, okay. Because he's a magician, right? He's tricking people. He's doing magic. He's acting at the same time. Klein replied half jokingly. "That's not funny, Detective Moriarty," Castellana said in a deep voice. "I just want to perform some magic for you," Klein lampooned. "A little bit of magic, yeah?" Yeah. He handed his cane to the maidservant and solemnly nodded. "I'll keep that in mind." Stuart, who was the most pathetic state at a moment ago, didn't seem to be angry at all. He batted his clothes with great interest, got up and asked, "Why haven't I heard of you, Mr. Moriarty? I mean, I know a lot of people in the detective business, but I've not heard about you in the past." I only came to Backland in early September, Klein briefly explained. Is that so? Stuart laughed and said, tonight the two of us will pair up. We'll be in charge of everything from midnight until tomorrow morning. Will that be a problem? Nope, Klein responded with a smile. Interesting. Stuart wants to get close to Klein. Okay, after dinner you guys have to rest and take over your shifts in the early morning, Kaslana added. Klein took a long look at the trembling Adel and nodded seriously. Nothing happened throughout the afternoon, and the worried male and female host prepared a hearty dinner for detectives and the bodyguards, but no alcohol were provided. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Klein and Stuart, a young man with a full beard, went to the rooms on the second floor. Stuart kinda sus though. Seeing that no one was around, Stuart shook his head and said, Sherlock, you should have noticed that the problem with Adol isn't something regarding revenge. Bro, you sure are affable. Klein's expression didn't change as he asked, Huh, why do you say that? It looks more like he has mental problems, or according to the countryside, he's been haunted by ghosts and evil spirits. Nah, really? Nah, surely not. Frankly, I'm afraid of that Stuart's side. Mr. Coleman should have taken the psychiatrist, and if that doesn't work, get the priest from the Lord of Storms to sprinkle some holy water and perform a ritual. You can suggest it to him, Klein said objectively. If Adol doesn't get better, I'll consider it in a couple of days. Stuart glanced sideways at Klein. Interesting. Guys, don't go to the fan wiki if you don't want to ruin the reading experience. Whoa, not really. Surely reading stuff from wiki doesn't spoil you, right? You reading Shadow Slave? I have heard Shadow Slave before. Is it another, like, big novel? Klein laughed up and replied, That's up to you. My mission will be over tomorrow. At that moment, the two of them had arrived at their destination and entered their respective rooms. 1 in the morning, inside Adol's bedroom, Klein sat in a rocking chair holding onto Asik's copper whistle, quietly watching his ward. Stuart sipped his coffee at his desk. Few of them didn't speak, afraid that they would wake the sleeping Adol. A time passed, a cold chill swept through the room. Oh, Wraith is getting close. Adol sat up and opened his eyes. What's wrong? Stuart asked somewhat nervously. To the washroom, Adol replied in a soft, dreamy voice. His face seemed paler and his lips were turning purple. Stuart was about to speak when he saw Sherlock Moriarty stand up and nod at him. I'll follow him. Oh, alright, Stuart had a sigh of relief. Putting his hands in his pockets, Klein stayed on one step behind Adol and followed him to the entrance to the washroom 2 rooms away. Adol is hearing some voices in his head, back of his head, right? Just as Adol was about to close the door behind him, he saw a figure flashing. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is Adol's Klein. I can't let you out of my sight. Do whatever you have to do, but pretend I don't exist. Klein smiled and leaned against the wall. Adol remained silent, his eyes unfocused as he looked into the mirror. He turned on the faucet and let the water flow. At this moment, Klein took out a box of matches and lit the matchstick as though he wanted to smoke. However, he didn't do so. He blew up the air and allowed the match to go out. Ha! Another magic trick here. Klein casually threw the match in front of him and took out another item. Adol, whose back was facing him, suddenly straightened up. The figure in the mirror was so pale that it looked like a corpse. Whoosh! The washroom, a cold wind howled. While keeping his lower body fixed, Adol turned around and cleared the Klein's left hand. At a delicate copper whistle that was being tossed up and down. Yeah, tying together to the Wraith, right? It's close here. Peak Shadow Slave Glazer. So... what's up with Adol? Whoosh! A gust of cold wind blew across Klein's face. So there's something invisible there. I guess the Wraith, right? He continued smiling and snapping his fingers. With a loud bang, a flame rose from a crown, igniting an invisible vigor. The figure struggled for a few moments before completely dispersing. The flames extinguished as a result. Klein put away Asik's copper whistle and looked calm at Adol, whose eyes were beginning to focus. Adol appeared to have finally awoken from a long nightmare. So what skeleton does this guy have in his closet, by the way? Because he's nonchalantly just, you know, woke up from his nightmare. So a young man standing a few steps away. The man was wearing a white shirt, dark trousers, and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. He was leaning against the wall with a smile on his face. Kind low-key aura farm there, by the way, with the match, right? Kind of a magic trick too, by the way. Like, is it actually also like farming acting? points to thy chest on his face. Then he heard a gentle voice. What happened to you? Let's see. I'm guessing he pissed off someone and then killed someone, and that spirit started to like haunt. Oh my god, Nightwalker! Hello, happy birthday, by the way. Can we get a happy birthday for Nightwalker? Nightwalker? Can we get a happy birthday for Nightwalker, by the way? Anyway, 300. That was a fast chapter. Damn, I'm speedrunning these chapters. Only 22 minutes. Oh, it was actually 299. Now it's 300. Sorry, my bad. Peak 300. Same time when Nightwalker came in. Anyway, Adol seems to be, I'm guessing like not really important character, but a segue character to like something Klein is gonna realize, or he's gonna like figure out something, or he's gonna have a revelation of something through Adol, right? And we're gonna get like 10 pounds richer, right? Obviously, we don't have to fight anyone, but you know, could have been good. 300, wow. Let's go, 300. Right now. 1,000 more? Jeez. We started 3.5 months ago. Spirit dance, what exactly happened? What exactly happened? Adol muttered this question softly and realized that he couldn't remember what he had done for the past few days. He looked around dreamily, frightened, panicked, and confused. Who are you? Where is this place? You washroom, don't you recognize it? I'm a private detective in charge of protecting you. Klein looked at the teenage boy who hadn't figured out the situation around him and chuckled in response. My house, detective to protect me. What exactly happened? Adol looked around in astonishment and murmured to himself. Suddenly he stopped, his already pale face filled with unconceivable fear. Maybe there are really ghosts in this world. There really are ghosts. His voice was shaky, but Klein couldn't hear two completely different feelings from his voice. Fear and excitement? Oh! And these were perfectly depicted by the color of his emotions. I feel like this guy tried to get into like mysticism and got cursed somehow. And, you know, because rich people have the means to get into mysticism. Excited, did the boy end up provoking a wraith because of his thirst for excitement? Adrenaline Chunky. Who else is an Adrenaline Chunky? It's true that the young are bold and unafraid of death, Klein made a preliminary guess, but he asked in confusion. Ghosts? After becoming a magician, his spirit vision had been slightly enhanced, but not by much. He was still unable to see the astral projection surface deep in their ether body, and as such unable to judge whether the target was a beyonder or not. Oh, okay, I guess like during sequence 6 maybe, sequence 5. Adol's pale face suddenly flushed red. Yes, ghosts! He flailed his arms and added, there exists a wider world beyond our senses. I'm serious. Beyond our senses? Like people that are beyonders? I'm serious, death is not the end of everything. This line is indeed an adolescent, however I think... Wait, what I mean, death is not the end of everything. Talking about heaven? I think I've seen similar words somewhere, like when you die you become a spirit? Yeah. Klein smiled and said, I believe in others saying, in the face of time there's even more ancient than ancientness, even death itself will disappear. True. True. That's, by the way, like how does something even begin, right? How does time and life even begin? If it can begin, it can also end forever. Without waiting for Adol to say anything, he took out his gold pocket watch, opened it and said, so how did you get yourself in the state you were in before? You were like a patient with a nervous breakdown? Adol turned his head and thought for a few seconds. Then he said, I joined a society. It's not an ordinary society. We all believe that death is not the end. Oh, the eposcate, the death eposcate. We believe death is not the end. We can use mysticism to even sense death directly and understand that everything can be reversed. Yes, we believe in that the dead can be resurrected. Maybe not. Klein, who had just climbed out of his grave more than a month ago, chuckled shyly. You and the others were trying to revive the dead. Probably like teenager, right? Probably some teenager thing, not real secret organization because he's not a beyonder yet. That is not the end. A word beyond the a word beyond the senses. Everything can be reversed. Mysticism, sensing. Aren't these the teachings of the numinous episcopate? Episcopate. These were all created to. Okay, maybe it is. Revive death, he muttered to himself silently in enlightenment. Yes, Adol nodded, his eyes pried up but completely unable to hide his fear. Where did you get your corpses? Klein pressed. Secretly dig up graves, or like grave diggers. Those that have been buried for long, or buy them from the hospital. Hospital sells corpses? Fuck. I also read EPUB. EPUB is the better way. Adol said as he recalled, it's indeed a crime that can get you thrown in jail. It's no wonder that Rogo Koloman doesn't want the police involved. You sure are bold. Get your thrills, Klein maintained his genial smile and asked, and did you succeed? Not yet. The way they looked at me during the last gathering was like I was looking at a corpse, as if they were wondering where to place their corresponding mystics. And then we tensed a spirit tense and communicated with the world beyond with our senses. And then I lost all my memories since then. Oh, they used him. I think they used him because, he's like none beyond a rich kid, right? Oh, we have no use for you. Adol's body began to tremble uncontrollably. Spirit tense it's really the numinous episcopate. This fellow became a test subject for his companions. Yeah, exactly. Klein frowned and asked, your memory is disconnected from that point until now? According to the internal records of Nighthawk, spirit dances originated from the ancient sacrificial dances that were popular in the southern continent. It was a ritual method that death loved. Ooh, I wonder, now that makes me think, this kind of like ritual of dancing probably is a ritual to advance to a higher sequence on the death pathway, right? But like, it seems easy though. Maybe like, you have to dance around like sacrifices or something. A spirit dance was used to beat rhythm and movements to harmonize one's spirituality so they could interact with the natural environment, just to establish an interaction with the target of the player. Oh, it's like praying, but like a ritual. Then combined with a simple altar arrangement and corresponding honorific name, it can achieve the effects of more complex ritualistic magic. Oh. 4 times banned by Aindu. Who are you? Like, were you Klein's mom? Okay, were you like Yagami before? You trying to like avoid being banned is gonna get you banned again, right? You have funny usernames, so I'm gonna keep you in chat, by the way. Because, when you go comment on someone else's channel, like, oh, who's Aindu? Anyway. So, it might be a ritual to advance in the future, but then again, it seems too simple, right? Maybe you like sacrificed like human on an altar, or maybe like sacrifice a dragon and put their bones on an altar or something. It's a more complex ritualistic magic. Yes, Adol softly replied before he suddenly raised his head. What day is it today? What time is it now? Friday morning, 1:12 a.m. Klein answered based on his memory. Adol subconsciously took a deep breath and said, I missed the newest gathering. They conduct a resurrection ritual outside Krim Cemetery every Friday at 3 in the morning. Krim Cemetery got his name because it wasn't far away from Krim Garden Street. Oh. I mean, he was used as a test subject. I don't think he knows he was used as a test subject. Klein knows, though. You still wish to go? Have you forgotten what had happened to you? Oh, you don't actually remember, but you should ask your father, your mother, and servants, Klein reminded the young man in front of him. And I might not be able to help you any further, he added silently in his heart. After this incident, he discovered another weakness of magician, which was the lack of an ability to deal with wraiths and shadow-related creatures. Only the control of the fire barely counted, but after those creatures possessed a human body, exorcism and purification became a problem, unless he wanted to kill both the ghost and the human. Of course, Klein wasn't completely helpless in this aspect. He could contact ritualistic magic to do similar things, but that would be very troublesome. It would easily expose his identity and was unsuited for actual combat. After some thought, he had finally chosen to use Ozzy's copper whistle to lure the wraith out. Yeah, Then he controlled the flames to complete the purification. I kind of miss Isaac, right? I wonder, is he maybe hopefully it's gonna be soon, and Isaac is gonna Klein is gonna let Isaac know that I'm alive. But there's so many questions from Isaac, right? However, the level damage wasn't high. If he were to encounter a slightly more powerful wraith, it was possible that he was unable to take care of it. I still lack items of charms to deal with undead creatures. If only had the Seal Artifact 30782, Mutated Sun Sacred Emblem. Yeah, that's a good one. My thoughts were momentarily distracted. Adol suddenly remembered his missing memories and his face turned pale again. He answered with a rambling voice, No, I don't want to go. I never want to go again. Very good, Klein smiled in support. Bro wants to go, he's lying. Adol looked at his face, which didn't contain the slightest bit of fear, and subsequently asked, Aren't you afraid after I said so much? Klein stopped leaning against the wall and slowly straightened his body. He replied in a relaxed tone, For a detective, they would rather not believe something unless there's concrete evidence. He opened the door and walked out, wondering if he should make contact with the numinous episcopate. After all, this might involve the mystery of Mr. Isaac's life. Isaac is a descendant of death. Son, maybe. Yeah, I like the stream, guys. Thank you so much. Adel looked at the private detective back in a daze. It took him quite some time to realize that there was no one in the washroom other than himself. Furthermore, the moonlight outside was so gloomy that it left long shadows, making it seem as though something invisible was lurking and watching. Huh. He shivered and hurriedly shouted, Wait for me! As he spoke, Adel quickened his pace, rushed out the washroom, and followed closely behind Klein. Me at night when I was a kid, scared of, ghost when I went to the bathroom. He knows fear and is apprehensive. That means he's still redeemable. I can fix him. Klein is like, I can fix him. Klein mumbled before inserting his hands into his pockets. When he returned to his bedroom, Stuart didn't notice that Adol had already turned for the better. He still wore a serious expression from the ghost story he imagined himself, so he didn't dare to walk around recklessly. After Adol fell asleep again, Klein took out a copper penny and let it move between his fingers. When it was close to 250, he drew up the coin and caught it firmly before standing up and whispered to Stuart, I'll be heading to the balcony to smoke a cigarette. Be quick, Stuart urged with somewhat daunt nerves. Klein put on his long gown and walked slowly out the door at the balcony at the end of the corridor. Then he hid in the shadows. Then he pulled out a rather crudely cut paper figurine. I was using the cut figurines as, what's it called again? Puppets? Not puppets. Wait, let's read. Because marionette is this puppet. Klein violently shook his wrist, causing the paper to make crisp sound. The paper quickly expanded and turned to a human. As a dummy. Yeah, as a dummy. He's gonna like pretend to be there, right? Klein Alma? Person was at the same height as Klein, a wax statue indiscriminately carved with the same exact facial features. It was one of the users of paper figurine substitutes, yeah. Soon Klein focused his mind, clenched his right fist and lightly tapped his body. I'm guessing when he gets to marionettes, they can use these bodies to like use them against like a real fighting army. And lighted up his body. Without a sound, the figurine seemed to come alive. It even had a cigarette with a glowing red head in its mouth as the fragrance of tobacco wafted out. Oh, okay, so you can actually make it look just like you. I thought it was just like because it's like dark outside and it's nighttime. It's gonna be like, kind of a silhouette of Klein, but yeah. Without sound, the figurine seemed to come alive. Yeah. By delegating this figure, this illusion can last half an hour. I'm really a magician. Klein put on his gloves, reached out and pushed himself forward before sliding down the balcony stealthily, avoiding the patrolling security. What if Stuart comes and like puts his hand on like Klein's shoulder and like, buddy, you've been smoking for 20 minutes. What are you guys talking about? Outside Cream Cemetery, in a secluded forest, Klein stood among the tree drops as he looked at the relatively open and flat area not too far away. Around him were evergreen leaves and brown branches, but their surfaces were stained with grey dust. From what Klein could see, there were about 8 young men and women wearing long black robes. Oh, this is like the ritual. It's so fucking creepy, probably. And twitching around the corpse. Oh! The dance was full of rhythm as though it had some sort of mysterious flavor to it. The girl shook her long hair and the boy extended his hand while kneeling. This scene had a subtle connection to their surroundings. It was rhythm of nature. After they danced for 3 to 4 minutes, everything within 10-meter radius was affected by a wild and confusing atmosphere. The atmosphere gradually turned sinister and there was a hint of divinity mixed in it. It really is a spirit dance. Ritualistic magic that even normal people can participate in. Klein cast his gaze away and looked at the man in black robes who was chanting an incantation besides the corpse. Earlier, he was the one who was instructing those young boys and girls on how to perform the quote-unquote spirit dance. He should have been a member of the numinous episcopate with a high probability of being a beyonder. Klein nodded indiscriminately, intending to watch the resurrection ritual. At this point, the dance reached its climax. The adult man in the black lifted his head and took off his wig, revealing the strange tattoos engraved in his bald head. Ugh. Bald. So all of them have tattoos and stuff. I wonder if all the members of the episcopate have to like sacrifice themselves in the future to like revive death. The previous sequence, Zero on the death pathway, right? And maybe those like tattoos on their head am I lagging? No. Maybe the tattoos on their head is like a ritual markings or something. It should be a member of the numinous episcopate. The high probability of being a beyonder, Glenn nodded indiscriminately, intending to watch the resurrection ritual. At this point, the dance reached its climax. The adult man in black lifted his head and took off his wig, revealing the strange tattoos engraved on his bald head. He raised his hands and shouted, "Death, honorable death, it's about to return, sure, cope." After he finished shouting, the dance stopped. The 7 to 8 youth stood on either side. They appeared to be in daze, filled with anticipation, excitement, and fear. I feel like if death does return, it's gonna like take from your life source, guys. Careful. Next, the man bent down and opened the iron cage at his feet, taking out a black object. Ooh, beyond their item? Ryan looked over and saw that it was a green-eyed black cat. Ugh, sacrificing a cat? Bro, I think you should do more than that. The whole fucking culture sacrificed themselves. Let's see what happens then. This works too. He was obviously stunned for a moment. Suddenly, he thought of the various folklore related to a black cat. For example, if a black cat, which symbolized the evil emissary of hell, jumped over a corpse, the corpse would be awakened. It was the first time Klein was seeing someone use a similar method in a ritual. Huh, interesting. The man stepped forward while restraining the black cat from struggling before throwing into the corpse. At the corpse. Meow. While the black cat's hair stood on the end and hissed and leaped over the corpse. Hiss. At the moment, Klein felt like he could understand the cat language. He believed that the cat must have said one word, fuck. Very funny, Klein. Interesting. Bro, what else will death call to not sacrifice though? Do you blame me for sacrificing? Or like assuming they will sacrifice? I don't the theory is too far-fetched. I'm not gonna write it down. They have to like, you know, sacrifice themselves to summon death. I guess we're gonna, you know, find out. Anyway, they think they are sacrificing death, but, you know, probably just some young bucks, young lads, young lasses who don't know much about stuff and just, you know, having fun. And a few of them are beyonders, by the way, but they're hurting the cat, so fuck off. I don't think they can resurrect death right now, though. 301. 4 times spent behind you, bro. I'm telling you, at the end of the series or the novel, you're gonna be, I don't know, 600,000 times spent behind you, and then I have like million subs because of you, by the way. So thank you. W actually. 1 second, guys. Freaking speeding through the through these chapters today. Holy. Meow. The black cat's cry echoed in the open area that was surrounded by the secluded forest. Regardless of whether it was the adult black-robed man or the 15 or 16-year-old boys and girls it feels like there's one adult and a 15-year-old like teenagers, right? I'm guessing the adult is a beyonder, and all these like, you know, teenagers were groomed into this, including Adol. All of them simultaneously cast their gaze into the corpse lying in the middle. A gust of cold wind blew, and the black cat landed on the ground, staring at the human who had just thrown it. It kept flicking its tail around. All of a sudden, its fur stood on end again. Then, exerting great force with its hind limbs, it jumped up and fled in another direction. Oh, good, cat got away. Unfortunately, whatever it did had failed to attract any attention. All the human present had their attention focused on the motionless corpse. Oh, maybe they weren't sacrificing then. Hell. Seconds turned to minutes, but the corpse did not undergo any anticipated changes. Another failure. One of the teenagers moved closer and crouched down, poking at dead man's skin with his fingers. There's no reaction. He turned around halfway and spoke to the man in black and his companions. At this moment, he felt a gust of wind hit his face from beneath him. With a swoosh, the corpse sat up. Oh, is this wait, it's not a success. I feel like Klein is trolling them. The youth has startled and immediately cheered in a surprise. It's success! It's success! Before he could finish his sentence, the corpse grabbed him by the shoulder and pulled him into his arms. Then opened its mouth and bit down, producing a sound and causing blood to spread. Never mind, it's not Klein trolling. Brought me the zombie. Holy shit. Help! The youth screamed in horror and retreated with all his might, but he couldn't break free. Imagine just like munching on your head. Ugh. The corpse raised his head, revealing rows of white teeth. What if it's because of because that ritual they did that unpurified the body, and it was Asik's copper whistle that brought back the corpse? The corpse raised his head, revealing rows of white teeth, as well as bits of flesh hanging between its teeth, the blood flowing from its mouth. The black-throated man was stunned for a moment, and he took out a whistle that was brass in color. Oh, like Asik's copper whistle. He put it in his mouth and blew on it. Then he said in Hermes, "I command you in the name of death." As his voice echoed in the air, the corpse stopped chewing and momentarily froze on the spot. Oh, they have the whistles just like Asik, but maybe different ones. Interesting. This is the first time it succeeded because the guy was even surprised. The youth whose neck and shoulders, or is it because of Klein being there? But then again, Klein didn't blow on the whistle. The guy blew on the whistle. Had been the youth whose neck and shoulders had been mangled by the bite. Ew. Similarly collapsed as he had lost his soul. The dirt around his nether regions was completely moist. Ew. It really is possible. The black-throated man muttered in pleasant surprise. He pointed at the corpse and once again said Hermes, "Get up!" The corpse abruptly stood up. Then it threw back its shoulders before quickly running into the depths of the circular forest. "Bro, you let a zombie loose! Come back!" The black man robe cried out in surprise, but the corpse showed no signs of stopping. This guy is Sequence 9, what's he called? Not Corpse Collector. Sequence 9, yeah, Corpse Collector, probably, right? That guy's ass. But the corpse showed no signs of stopping. Oh my god, imagine just corpse running away, bro. He blew his whistle again and shouted with dignity, "I command you to return to the name of death." With those words, the corpse disappeared into the woods. Oh, doesn't work. The whistle doesn't work. "I ordered you to return." The black-throated man stood rooted to the spot in stupefaction as he mumbled to himself in a daze. In the woods, Klein held Kasik's copper whistle and the matchbox in one hand. He kept lighting... Yeah, there we go. It was Klein. And he kept lighting matchsticks and shook his wrist to extinguish them before throwing them onto the ground. During this process, he moved backwards in an arc. Tap, tap, tap. A corpse's pale face and foul stench rushed over. His lifeless eyes stared straight at the ancient and exquisite copper whistle. As Klein retreated, his cheeks puffed out. He aimed at the corpse and stimulated the sound. Bang! First time seeing it in action, holy shit. The corpse finally staggered as a penetrating wound appeared in its chest. Bang! Klein buffed out his cheeks again and fired another air bullet. He's like, poof, poof, bang, bang. Holy. And I fired another air bullet. Splat! The head of the corpse shattered, the rotten liquid dripped from it incessantly. However, that wasn't a fatal injury to the corpse. It only slowed down for a moment before it continued again. Upon seeing this, Klein took a step back and snapped loudly. Pa! A bright flame rose from the ground, enveloping the corpse and igniting the outer garments. Tap, tap, tap. The corpse rushed through the flames and continued to charge forward like a mad bull. The music is not really working here, bro. Not gonna lie. Let me change the music. Here we go. This is better. I hope. Anyway. Killing Lanevos. You know who dies today? Ints. So this fucking corpse is just to burn them to death, right? However, there wasn't a fatal injury for the corpse. It only slowed down for a moment before it continued again. Upon seeing this, Klein took a step back and snapped loudly. Pa! A bright flame rose from the ground, enveloping the corpse and igniting its outer garments. Tap, tap, tap. The corpse rushed through the flames and continued to charge forward like a mad bull. Pa, pa, pa. Klein kept snapping his fingers, causing red flames to appear on the ground one after another. Oh, like this? Holy! Like, I don't understand. 4 times panned behind you. Like, there's a reason why you're panned. Because why does Alma bother you? What has Alma done? The corpse didn't feel any pain as it passed through the flames, but gradually its body began to burn, and the flames grew more and more intense. It gave off the strange feeling as though a candle was melting. Finally, the corpse, which had turned into a torch, arrived in front of Klein as he clawed at him. Is it not burning like bullish? A flame rose up and engulfed both him and Klein. Klein is fireproof. The corpse grabbed Klein's shoulder but only produced sparks. Klein's figure dissipated in the red light and appeared in the farthest burning pile. Ooh, this is like his first fight as a magician, and it's a fucking corpse. I'm guessing he's just, trying out the abilities, right? He's like, you know how you go in like a sandbox mode and try out your character, right? That's what Klein is basically doing. He's using like a target dummy to try out his magician abilities. It's so funny. Klein's figure dissipated in the red light and it appeared in the farthest burning pile. Oh, whoa! Wait, he can like move fast or like teleport between the fires he created on the ground, like dash fast between them, like, whoa! Like he rises from the ash. At that point, the corpse seemed to have exhausted all of his strength, and stopped struggling and quickly melted under the dark green flames, turning into ashes and oil wags. He's stronger than all of the zombies and rats that I met before. Well, not as good as Mr. Ozzy's descendant. If it were for me, they would all be dead here today. Klein shook his head and walked through the trees towards the open area. Dingo Eggers mentioned, by the way. At this moment, the black robe man had already noticed the changes in the forest without any hesitation. Did the black man... Sorry. Did the black robe man hear the gunshots or what? He turned around and ran while the 7 to 8 youngsters scattered in a flash. However, when they realized that they were the only ones in the area, they timidly stopped and returned to the original area where they gathered together. I have just experienced the awakening of a corpse, and now the corpse had bitten one of the youths. They didn't have dared run away alone in the deep dark night. It would make the back of their necks feel cold. I know, right? Just, keep watching over your shoulder, man. They looked at each other and no one dared to help the youth who was badly mutilated in the neck and shoulders, afraid that he might turn a zombie at any moment. Oof, sucks to be him. I mean, you can't blame them, right? Probably, if you bit... These zombies are not like, conventional zombies where you bit each other, you're gonna turn into a zombie. I think it's more like zombies as in like undead warriors. In the short silence that made their hearts beat like a drum, they saw a clown wearing flashy clothes with red, yellow, and white paint covering his face walking out from the forest. Klein is just fucking badass here, man. Holy fuck. This was an illusion that was personally created by Klein. He's acting as a magician so hard, by the way. He's gonna fully digest this potion in like, I don't know, 3 weeks. Holy fuck. He survived the surroundings but didn't pursue the black-robed man. Instead, he asked in a hoarse voice, who was the one who presided over the ceremony? Who? It seems teenagers were still in a daze. It took them a few seconds before they pushed out a trembling pushed out a trembling boy who replied, He's our language teacher in the ancient Vesak, Kaputsky. Kaputsky raid. Bro, his name is Kaputsky. Language teacher. Secret Time Beyonder. Magician is so cool. I know, right? I like told you, like, bro's first time fighting as a magician and he's like practicing on a fucking zombie. It's so cool. He claimed to have a deep understanding of death and wanted to lead us to search of the mysteries of immortality. So as a teacher from school, the mysteries of immortality really don't need to pay taxes to brag. Judging from his performance just now, this fellow shouldn't be a spirit medium. At the very most, he will be grave digger. In fact, he might only be a sequence 9 corpse collector. I think he's sequence 9, man. He's so ass. Of course, he might not be from the death pathway and simply joined the numinous episcopate because of his adoration. What teacher involves his students, by the way? What the fuck? After Klein got the exact location where Kaputsky stayed, he thought for a moment and said, You guys can go back now. Don't get involved in this anymore. Don't leak this out. Otherwise, all of you will die. Then he emphasized again, all of you will die. Yeah, they're never gonna go back into mysticism. The young boys and girls who had been scared witless by what has happened all frantically nodded. They prepared to leave with each other's help. Imagine seeing a fucking clown in the forest, by the way. Imagine seeing a clown with flashy clothes, red, yellow, white paint covering his face, walking out from the forest. Holy shit. You really look like Forrest? That's cool. Forrest looks really cool, by the way. Who's Forrest? Who's Forrest? Me. Who's Forrest? No Forrestlander, by the way. Forrest became a magician in Tarot Club last time. And I see Gio is gonna be next, right? At this moment, the young girl with smooth hair pointed at her companion who was moaning in pain on the ground and asked, Will he be alright? He won't die for now, but you have to take him to the doctor. Say that he was bitten by a hyena that often eats rotting meat. Klein ignored them and headed back into the woods. The young man and woman looked at each other and someone purred out, Excuse me, may I ask how we should address you? Say like one of Fool's angels. No, he can't reveal the Fool yet. The young man and woman looked at each other and purred out, Excuse me, how should we address you? Klein smiled and liberated him misled him as he replied in a low voice, I'm just a gatekeeper of hell. Whoa! Gatekeeper of hell! Holy! That's cold. As he spoke, a mist spread out and his figure disappeared from where he stood. Of course, those were all illusions. A gatekeeper of hell, the young man and woman repeated the word softly, each having their own thoughts. However, after a gust of bone-piercing cold wind, Blue Bastard trembled once more, supported their companions and left the place without daring to look back. At one point, by the way, they should start... Is the music even exist, by the way? You guys hear the music? I like Alma. No Alma hate in chat, please. However, after a gust of bone-piercing cold wind blew past, they trembled once more, supported their companions and left the place without daring to look back. I wonder when we are gonna reveal... When are we gonna reveal the Tarot Club and the Fool, the public, by the way? Right? Maybe in like chapter or volume 4. I'm guessing volume 3. He's a member of the numinous episcopate. What a disappointment. If he didn't abandon his current intended, he would pay him a visit in the middle of the night to see if he knows anything. Yeah, I had to teach him a lesson so that he won't dare to bring trouble to the students again. Oh, good guy Klein, man. Good guy. Does he think spirit dances and resurrection rituals are child's play? Klein habitually charged the situation from the Nighthawk standpoint. Soon he returned to Rogo mansion and waited patiently for bodyguards to pass by during their patrols. As soon as he found an opportunity, he climbed over the fence and quickly followed the shadows to the house. Then he quickly climbed to the balcony. At that moment, the figurine disguised as him was still smoking. Bro is smoking one cigarette in 30 minutes, by the way. What's up, Merlin? Klein snapped his fingers. The figure in front of him turned to a thin piece of paper and fell into a palm. I mean, first impressions of Magician Pathway. Sorry, Magician Pathway. Magician sequence. I'm impressed. Right? Even though he was like farming a combat dummy, the corpse is basically a dummy, right? But those illusions are so fucking amazing, right? The illusions have so much potential. The figure in front of him turned into a thin piece of paper and folded into his palm. Compared to before, this piece of paper was covered with red, rusty marks and was no longer usable. Client didn't dare to throw it anywhere. He folded it and placed it in his pocket. Yeah, because evidence, right? Also have to start cutting with scissors more paper stuff. After done all of this, he sauntered back down the hall into Adolf's bedroom. What took you so long? Stuart asked in a trembling voice. Bro is scared. He had come to the door to inquire, and he had found Sherlock Moretti smoking one cigarette after another. To his duty, he didn't dare leave the bedroom. Oh, Klein is like, oh, I'm just, chain smoking. Klein laughed and replied, take a rest and relax. You can go too, I don't mind. Just as Stuart was about to agree, he suddenly thought of something. He would end up being the only person in the balcony surrounded by the dark night, and without sufficient brightness, there will be a cold wind environment that always reminded me of a ghost story. Therefore, he forced a smile and said, It's fine, I don't need it. Klein smiled silently and sat down, letting the reclining chair rock gently and slowly in the night. This continued till daybreak. Nothing else happened. When Adol woke up, he sat up in bed, lost in thought. Klein didn't say anything, but he swapped places with Kasala and her assistant and slowly walked to the guest room to catch up on his sleep. He was asleep and he heard Rogo exclaim in pleasant surprise, Oh, my boy, you're fine now. Holy Lord of Storms will donate £300 to the church. Church did nothing. The church did nothing, bro. Give it to us, man. Yoink. Bro is gonna give, what, £300 to a church? That's 199,000. That's... Okay, 90,000. That's like 60,000, bro. Dollar. You are telling me that they won't kill you? It was all a misunderstanding. £300, how extravagant. Klein rolled and wrapped his arms around the soft, warm kilt while mumbling. Then he went back to sleep. At noon, when Klein went downstairs to have a meal, Kostana sat opposite of him and asked with a slight frown, What happened last night? It's a donation, why not? If bro has $300 to donate, okay, donating the church, I don't know. It's gonna be, the money is gonna be used to re-burnish someone's uniform. Just saying. At noon, Klein went downstairs to have a meal. Kaslana sat opposite of him and asked with a slight frown, "What happened last night?" "Nothing," Klein answered simply and then laughed. Was Adon waking up and going to washroom count? Next time, Stuart slowed down his action and nodded in agreement. She glanced at their faces, then she retracted her gaze and replied in a low voice, "No." The corner of Klein's mouth curled up as he skillfully cut his steak. Bro is skillfully cutting his steak. Anyway, I feel like Kaslana and Lydia, I mean, it's not the last time we see them, right? I think they're going to be a little bit of a bigger character in the future, but Stuart was definitely not a future and recurring character because obviously he was always scared, rambling. Maybe he's acting and we should give him an Oscar for acting, but definitely Lydia and Kaslala looked more interesting, right? Even though we didn't even see them. But yeah, a teacher going for his students to take part of a fucking death ritual, like what the fuck? Anyway, 303. 302, sorry. A clue of where Ints is or what? Clue for what? Anyway, we're not gonna find out. We are gonna find out, but I'm gonna go pee. So give me like 3 minutes, and we're gonna find out what the clue is. I need a jump scare. Ooh. A clue. Haha, a clue. Detective who had been on leave returned to Cream Garden Street shortly after Klein and the others had finished their lunch. Also meant that this assignment was over. Due to this visible improvement in adult situation, Rogo was quite generous in the settlement of his pay, and he paid an additional 50% of £10, which they agreed upon. So £15 richer? Whoa. It's expected of jewelry businessmen to be this generous. However, compared to the other people in Westboro and Westboro, he isn't considered that rich. True. Cream Garden Street is close to the suburbs and is not too far away from the cemetery. I can reach it in 10 minutes if I run at full speed. His bodyguard, no, Miss Sharon, is highly likely being a sequence 5 beyonder. She charges £1,000 for 3 days, while I, as a sequence 7 beyonder, are only worth £15 a day. There's still a big difference. I mean, obviously, he did not know about... What's up, Kung Fu Chicken? He did not know about... Rogo did not know about Klein being a beyonder, and I don't think Rogo even knows that beyonders exist, so that price is not really, fair to compare, right? Of course, if I were to take such a mission every day, my income would be over £5,400 a year, putting me at the top of the middle class. Even the top manager of the Backland Bank makes $5,000 a year. It's just a pure fantasy. For most detectives, business comes sporadically, exactly. And the amount of beyonder ingredients I need to advance to Sequence 6 is definitely more than £3,000. Just thinking about it makes my head hurt. For normal people, it's a huge sum of money, enough to sustain a good life. Yeah, but they don't have Sugar Mommy, though. You have Audrey. Good news is that even if I grasp quote-unquote acting method, or you also have knowledge to trade for ingredients in Tarot Club, and you have the Tarot Club from Temu, which is the other beyonder gathering meeting, even if I grasp the acting method, adjusting the sequence 7 potion will take me somewhere between 6 months to 3 years. I call 3 weeks, by the way. Okay, maybe it's gonna take a few months. Even if I can quickly conclude the rules of magician, only able to push forward that lowest threshold by 1 to 2 months, I still have plenty of time to save up and search for clues to these ingredients. Wait, Miss Justice still owes me my blessed £5,000. Yeah, but Audrey is kind of, broke right now. However, her financial situation isn't in good shape recently. It will be difficult for her to come up with a large sum of cash in the next few months. Klein took, she is in a kind of a struggle. Klein took the 3 £5 notes and left Vesporo while with thoughts running through his mind. After returning to Minsk Street, he quickly burned the used paper figurine and made another 2 more. In the evening, he took the stream metro to the Backland Bridge District, and according to the numbers provided in the newspapers, he knocked on the door to the house where the gathering should take place. Talking about the, gathering from Demo, by the way, here it is. What's up, Klein? Fraud? Similar to the past few times, he put on an iron mask that covered only the upper half of his face, wore a hooded black robe, and followed the attendant into the activity room where only 1 candle burned quietly. At first glance, Klein noticed the number of beyonders present at this gathering was less than half what it used to be. Oh my god, this gathering fell off, guys. I came at the exact time. Are the others late? This time, Klein didn't change his gait and picked a corner before sitting down slowly. After a few minutes, the old eye of wisdom cleared his throat and said, "Let's begin the gathering. The others shouldn't be coming." After saying that, he gave a brief explanation. As the serial killer has yet to be found, the Nighthawks, Monday Punishers, and the Machine High Mind, as well as large number of MI9 beyonders, are out doing a large-scale investigation and researchers. Yeah, it needs 13 to 49 victims to advance, right? That was said. Under such a situation, it's very normal and understandable for those friends to be unwilling to go out and participate in the gatherings. Frankly, I'm surprised by the number of people that showed up today. Is the apothecary here, by the way? Sure enough, as Circle Beyonder isn't isolated, they will also be affected by current affairs. Klein looked around and saw that the fat apothecary wasn't absent. Ugh, his heart immediately relaxed. Oh, because he wants to sell the item to him, okay. The apothecary nudged the metal mask on his face, calling out without much hope. "Seeking to purchase the spring elves of Marrow Crystal. Price is negotiable." "I have it," Klein said without hesitation. He was worried that someone else might have found this beyond the ingredient, thereby causing the price of his stock to goods to fall. Although beyond ingredients were rare and it was rare for items to appear in independent circles, one could never be too careful. Seeking to purchase the spring of The apothecary didn't seem to hear the response. He was halfway through the sentence when he suddenly struck him. He turned his head to look at Klein and turned, "You do? Bro was in autopilot mode. What the hell? Yes, client found his fiery gaze a little too overwhelming. As he did so, he rolled up his black robe and took out the iron cigar case. Pah! And opened the cigar case, revealing the faded egg-shaped spring of the Elvis Marrow crystal. If you're worried, you can let old Mr. Eye of Wisdom appraise it, client added in a low voice. This wasn't really necessary because it was obvious something was a beyond ingredient or not. It was also quickly identified if something was contaminated or not. However, if one was lacking in mysticism knowledge, or beyond ingredient could very easily be mixed up with similar looking ingredients. When that happened, one needed an appraisal. Yeah, but we have the, wisdom. Unk of wisdom. The apothecary looked like he was looking at a beautiful lady he had been yearning for all this time. He looked at the beyond ingredient in Klein's hands. Mesmerized, after a few seconds, he shook his head and said, "No, there's need. No, that's it. Klein curved his corner of his lips into a smile and named his price, £300. And clues to the apothecary formula. Clues to the apothecary. It's you! The apothecary was stunned for a moment before finally understood who the man was. It was the guy who made him bring the sedative for nothing. Oh, he has beef with him. Holy shit. Hello, username. What's up, dude? The music just stopped when you came. Great. We love username. Username is amazing. Apothecary is about to give him like 5 cents for it, by the way. I'm just saying. It's you! Oh, dare you show your face. Soon under his heart painted his regret, similarly reaching its limit as he sighed emotionally. You really are a lucky guy. Why didn't you choose that road of fortune? What? Oh. I'm the king of yellow and black who feels good luck after all, Klein ampooned himself. The bottle decided and changed his posture. That's too expensive. £200 and the clue to the formula. The clue to the formula is only a bonus because I cannot confirm its veracity. Therefore, £300 is not penniless. I believe it's needed elsewhere. Klein smiled. This price is actually very fair. If it were anyone else, they might have offered £400 or even £500, and you might even be accepted at that price. I'm not that foolish. I can still wait. Bro was in autopilot earlier. You can't wait. What? The apothecary. You're not fooling anyone, bro. The apothecary crumbled before saying, "The clue can be verified by the old Mr. Eye of Wisdom." The old man? You know him personally? Huh? You know it? You know him? It must be something that exists objectively, something that has detailed information before I'm able to appraise it. It must be something that exists objectively, something that has detailed information before I'm able to appraise it. It's just a clue isn't among these conditions. Oh. It can't be confirmed by an old man. I see. Eye of Wisdom said, divination, on the other hand, can roughly determine whether the clue is effective as long as it doesn't involve powers 2 or 3 sequences above myself, Ryan silently said to himself. However, he won't reveal his expertise in divination at the Beyonder gathering. Oh, alright then. £200 plus the clue. You lucked out. The apothecary took a deep breath and pulled out a thick wad of cash. He then counted the corresponding amount and then asked the attendant to bring him a pen and paper before he started writing. After his son writing the clue, he crumbled the paper into a bowl and handed it along with the cash and some items to the attendant. Klein was suddenly stunned when he saw the attendant walk over. In addition to the cash included, there were 4 glass tubes filled with that seemed to be pure liquids. Is he gonna give him like, what's it called again? Is he gonna give him Viagra, or the one that makes you like, you know. Have you forgotten your sedative? The sedative especially concocted. It stands only a bottle, £2 for 4. So the cash there is £2.98, answered the apothecary. If you're worried about my sedative, you can have it appraised. I really forgot. I did all of that to gain Miss Sharon's trust. And now that she's not here, well, it's fine. Maybe a sedative will be able to handle some unexpected situations. Klein stopped talking, took out a spring of Elvis Marrow crystal, took the items, counted the case in front of everyone, and determined that their authenticity with the faint candlelight. That's crazy, bro. What is your plane? Yeah, mummy powder, exactly. 298, that's right. Seeing that this wallet could no longer hold any more cash, that's a rare flex. Klein could only roll up the pills and slip them into his pocket. After putting away the sedative sedative. He unfolded the note and glanced at the clue. On the south side of the bridge, 1 Rose Street at Harvest Church, find Bishop Uldravsky. As long as you help him complete the mission, you'll be able to get the apothecary formula. Bro, send us on a quest. What? He sent us on a quest. Go to the church, find Bishop Uldravsky. Okay. We're going on a fucking mission, guys. Harvest Church, at one of the few cathedrals in the Church of Earth Mother. Oh yeah, because it's like mostly like oppressed and banned, right? Only like, what was it, like 2 churches out there? 3? The search also grasps 2 beyonder pathways, Planter and Apothecary. Oh, I love Planter, man. I can't wait to see more of the Planter pathway, because if you have a look at the Planter pathway, by the way. Where is it? We don't know anything about the Planter pathway. And Prisoner also, to be fair. Prisoner and Planter, but Planter sounds more interesting to me. I guess also the Apothecary, right? Planter! Can't wait to plant my seed. Yeah, Planter is hype, guys. I wanna see what the hype is about. Harvest Church, yeah. Klein thought as he refolded the note. As the gathering continued, it was unknown whether the female beyonder with the artisan backing her wasn't present, or she just didn't have any new beyonder weapons to sell. There were no signs of her, leaving Klein disappointed. Now that he had 509 pounds in hand, he wanted to equip himself nicely. Come on, save your money, man. After many transactions were reported, the man sitting on a stool said in a low voice, "A friend of mine was unfortunately discovered in this investigation. He's imprisoned in a particular Road of Storms cathedral by the Punishers. I wish to hire a few helpers to rescue him." Oh, Prison Break! Oh! Prison Break sounds so cool! Eye of Wisdom immediately replied, "Ah, stray dog, give up that thought. A cathedral's many Punishers and sealed artifacts are enough to destroy all of us here. The door. Use force. How much money, bro? Use force to open a door to the cathedral. Then we can write your questions. What do you mean questions? If you mean like theories, I have 55 theories written down. Monocle guy, is that bro spoiling? What the fuck? Stop spoiling, guys. Anyway, I don't trust people with monocles, by the way. So you're one of them. Anyway, let's keep reading. Stray dog. Give up that thought. The Greatest Man Punishment and Signal artifacts are enough to destroy all of us here. Your friend's fate has already been decided. Don't let yourself be trapped in the same situation. Stray dog looked around and realized that no one responding to his request. He couldn't help but thump his thigh, growling. "Ah, but what did he do wrong?" He's an excellent physician. He saved a lot of patients. Oh, physician? Spectator pathway? And then he's never hurt anyone. Is it the guy from Dingen? No. Because he consumed the potion and became beyonder, he's to be imprisoned in a place where the sun never shines. He'll even become an experimental subject for many Punishers. Why? Why? Seems like you really cared about that guy, by the way. Yeah, true, Hopeland, you're right. What are people talking about? Hey, Aindu, maybe you can write your question. Hey, Aindu, Pecan, write your question. What are you saying? Stray Dog's agonized question echoed in the room. Even the apothecary, who couldn't keep his mouth shut, remained silent. Klein, a former police officer, could hold his sigh deeply in his heart. Without the spirit of the acting method, wild beyonders are ticking time bombs. But if the acting method is popularized, then the situation will become even more chaotic. Yeah, because inflation, right? And bloody, after all, there are laws of beyonder characteristics, indestructibility and conservation. In this heavy atmosphere, the gathering came to an end. Klein, who had gotten nothing else, spoke again. Who has revolvers and bullets that come augmented with different beyonder effects? For example, purification, demon hunting, etc. He didn't specifically fix the caliber on the bullets because he didn't have a gun yet. He could simply wait until he bought the bullets before matching the corresponding gun. In the midst of the silence, a female beyonder. Ooh, we found the woman who sells the artifacts, maybe. Unless there are multiple women, which maybe there is, right? A female beyonder sitting in the same corner replied in a low voice, I can help you. Ask and I'll give an answer in the next gathering. It seemed to be the lady with the artisan backing her. Client sighed. Alright. After gathering ended, he didn't return to Minsk directly. Instead, he went to Eastborough and changed his clothes, heading to the border between Northborough and Hillstonborough. It was there where the suspected member of the numinous episcopate Kapuski Reid. Reid, right? Kapuski Reid lived. Okay. Round 3. Interesting. We're gonna go on a mission. I guess we're gonna visit the teacher first. What was his name again? What was not the Kaputski, but what was the search? Utovsky. Are they related, by the way? I love ski. I think it's a Slavic name, right? A lot of Slavic people have Uvsky. You have Utvavsky, who's the bishop, and then we have Kapuski, who's the teacher in the episcopate. Oh, I like that Hopeland. I like that name. Anyway. Common ending? Yep. Maybe they're not related. It's just common ending. Let's read 303. Rookie. Who's rookie? Like Klein is rookie or who's rookie? 1 second, guys. I got pinged. What is thy need of me? Hope you reach Shadow Slave? Probably. If that's what the people want, you know. I'll do what the masses want. Unless if it's like not fun at all, then probably I won't. But if it's fun, and if it's interesting, and if that's what the masses want, I'll do. Because I'm doing it for the fun of the game, you know. But after Lord of Mysteries. SS is big. Don't abbreviate it, please. Don't abbreviate it. It's like saying KKK is big, kinda. Anyway. Rookie. Northborough, Alka Street. Kapuski Reid was sitting in a reclining chair in his activity room, lost in thought. In front of him was a fireplace burning with charcoal. Probably sequence 9, right? Why not? Because it's SS is a Schutzstaffel. It's the Nazi thing. Anyway, and a lot of Nazis have SS in the name as well. Kaputsky Reid was sitting in a reclining chair in an activity room, lost in thought. In front of him was fireplace burning with charcoal. Where'd the music go, bro? A senior educator at the public school. Was he a senior? He was bald. Although he was like 35. He received a salary of more than £4 a week, which is enough for a bachelor like him to live quite well. £4 brokey. I mean, that's average wage, you know. Like him to live quite well, but the clothes for at home were patched up and his teacups on the table looked extremely simple. Probably saving money for mysticism, right? Because mysticism ain't cheap. Without taking off his wig, the most striking thing about Kaputsky was his high cheekbones and puffed up chest. Oh, like this. Oh, guys. Oh my god, fix your spine. Oh my god. I put my spine straight and I feel so much better. Posture check. Also, shout out to all the bears. I'm not a bear, by the way, but I have a shirt that has a bear on it. And someone said I look like, am I a bear? As in like the gay thing. I'm not a bear, but shout out to all the bears. And the teacups of the table looked extremely simple. Without taking off his wig, the most striking thing, yeah. On his knee was a book of poems in ancient Faceak, but he hadn't flipped a single page even after some time has passed. Kaputsky's eyes were on focus as he strayed blankly when he suddenly heard a flight of chuckle in his ear. Oh my god, did fucking Klein go behind him or something? What the fuck? I'm, I'm very curious as to why didn't you run and choose to remain at home? Aren't you afraid of the police coming for you? The voice was low and hoarse, like a boy whose voice was cracking during puberty. Kabutsky shuddered and almost jumped out of his reclining chair. We are mysteries. We are mysteries, exactly. Abruptly turned his head to look and saw that there was a figure sitting on the sofa a few steps away from him. The figure for summer wear, a linen shirt and a light trousers. Its face was hazy and indistinct. Klein is just fucking trolling. Oh my god. Who are you? What are you doing here? Kaputsky asked immediately as he crippled the armrest. Klein, who had just used his hallucination powers, oh my god, leaned back, crossed his hands and leisurely said, just last night. It should be early this morning. I saved all of you. Saved us? Kabutsky relaxed a little when he realized that the noodle didn't seem to mean any harm. You're that person in the forest. You took care of the corpse you awakened. As he spoke, he moved awkwardly, showing obvious fear. He was able to infiltrate without me realizing it when I was awake. I definitely won't be able to resist. Such thoughts quickly flashed through Kaputsky's mind. You guys are quite lucky. You guys are quite lucky that I happened to pass by. Otherwise, there will only be corpses left stirred on the ground in the forest. Corpses that could have been bitten to shreds. Klein laughed. Answer my question. I'm very curious why you stayed at home. Do you know what crimes you committed? Not the way that he had conducted the resurrection ritual and the reaction he had before and after the ritual, Klein had confirmed that Kaputsky was a rookie who didn't have the means to hide his true emotion. Therefore, he tended to only use spirit vision and interrogation to get the bottom of the matter. At most, he will verify it with divination at the end. Wow, this guy's a weak sauce. This guy's really weak. Everyone into this problems. We are John Mysteries. We are Charlie Kirk. Wait, we are John Mysteries. Fucking Klein's aura farming here. I mean, he doesn't need to do anything else, right? He can literally like use integration to get the info out of. Like, this guy doesn't deserve to be like, you know, to do anything else to him. I know secretly buying corpses and robbing corpses from tombs is all the crimes that can land me in jail for more than 10 years. Moreover, I'll definitely be punished by the church. Kabutsky, who didn't look 30, okay, so he's not old, drew a breath and said with a wry smile, however, as long as I didn't cause too much trouble, those children and their parents won't snitch on me because I also did the same thing. Even if they wanted to get a lighter sentence by helping the investigation by turning themselves in, they will still end up in jail for some time. By the way, did they do it to at all on purpose, by the way? We carried the fork. We are John Mysteries. We carry the fork. Anyway. 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 By the way, I don't think they did that on Adol on purpose, by the way, to turn Adol into like a testing subject. It just happened because they're so inexperienced. Huh? Kabutsky gave a self-deprecating laugh. Some of these children have already told their parents who I am. They got on gangsters to warn me to resign within a week and stay away from school. I agreed. Holy fuck, this guy got fired. Not locked up, Klein gently nodded his head. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to change environments, of course. Don't do similar things again, bewitching ignorant children to commit crimes in a heinous act. Klein acting like Batman over here, by the way. Right? I never imagined that it would be that dangerous. I saw that they had the same interests as I did, which was why I wanted to teach them and let them to search for secrets of immortality. As for taking craves, many doctors still did it a long time ago. It's just weird, man. Like, what are you guys saying, man? Eindu's not cute, he banned me 4 times. Kleinfraud, you are Eindu banned me 4 times, guy? Anyway, like, digging up craves is mad business. Like how can you just justify that, though? And like getting like 8 children into it with you, basically grooming them into it, and Adol basically fucking lost his life nearly. I'm guessing they did not turn Adol into this subject, unless, he's lying, which he might be lying, but Klein can confirm with divination later. I don't think he is lying, because otherwise, how would he lie in front of Klein, right? He won't do that, surely, right? So is he not from the episcopate? Is he just like enthusiast of mysticism enthusiast? I never imagined that would happen, to be that dangerous. I just thought that they had the same interests as I did. Yep. Kaputski sighed with some lingering fear. The color of his emotions matches his current state of mind. And the sound of it, he doesn't seem to be a member of the numinous episcopate. It's just it for the love of the game, guys. Love of the game. Klein thought for a moment, then he bluntly asked, "Where did you learn the spirit dance from?" Spirit dance? I usually call it the dance of death. Kaputski was taken aback at first before he came to realization. An old gentleman taught it to me. An old gentleman? Klein pressed. Kaputski's mind turned adrift as he recalled his memories. He was a tramp. He fainted in front of my house because of a serious illness. Some guy from episcopate, maybe? He was a tramp. He fainted in front of my house because of some serious illness. At the time, I didn't know that he was ill. I thought he had simply fallen unconscious, so I helped him home. I gave him a heated towel and applied some ointment for him. After he woke up, he told me that I not send him to the hospital or clinic and that death was not the end. I experienced the deaths of my parents and several relatives and was very interested in such things, so I chatted with him and found out that he had profound knowledge and an admirable philosophy in this area. He seemed to be very satisfied with my curiosity and even performed the miracle of killing a mosquito and waking it up. What the fuck? How long ago was this, by the way? This introduction, I've read at least 10 novels with similar openings in my previous life. They were all novels about bringing an old grandpa who was on the brink of death home out of kindness, only to have fortuitous encounter. Klein mouth twitched. So it was like an old grandpa, like, I'm nearly dead, kind of grandpa, not like Azik. Azik is like 35, you're 30, so you would not call him grandpa, right? So you left him at home. Kaputski nodded solemnly and said, yes, if it wasn't for the lack of time, I would have even wanted to become a student. During those few days, he taught me a lot of knowledge in the dance of death. Unfortunately, this period of time was too brief. As soon as I built momentum, he died, leaving behind only a copper whistle. Oh, Azik also has copper whistle. Wait, no. It's a different person. I thought maybe like Azik like ages, dies, and is like reborn again. But no. Azik just loses memories. Never mind. Before he finished his sentence, Kaputski took out an exquisite copper whistle that didn't seem old. I wonder if all of the people from the episcopate have copper whistles. So that means maybe also Azik was part of the episcopate? Maybe? This is it. I have one too. It's probably an ancestor crate though. Klein lampooned, and he thoughtfully asked, how long ago was this? What did he look like? Where did you bury him? Half a year ago. His most obvious feature was his graying hair and the red spots on the side of his face. Azik has a birthmark though. He told me to bury him in the garden out back. Kaputski did a calculation of the dates. It's not Mr. Azik, but the chances are that he is a member of the numinous episcopate. Yeah, he is a member. Yep, it's not big. I don't think Azik ages, right? And he's like reborn as like a 30-year-old or whatever, right? He just loses memories every like generation or so. He's a member of the numinous episcopate and not someone of a low sequence. Bro died of old age, by the way. That means that he might have been a good beyonder, you know what I mean? Klein changed the subject and asked, apart from the spirit dance, you also learned the resurrection ritual? I only had half of the ritual. I used some scattered knowledge and folklore to slowly improve bit by bit. Kaputski answered very honestly. He improved it based on folklore? Or that poor black cat, may the goddess bless you. Klein resisted the urge to throw a crimson moon on his chest. Oh, because, is he even a sequence line beyonder, by the way? Wait, he's not even a beyonder, maybe. What is Bro died of old age? No, I meant like, don't most beyonders like lose control? Lamut Castle have 1k years. So yeah, I think Azik is like, I think Azik is from the time that Death was defeated, which was 2000 years ago. So I think Azik is Death's son, which is, so he has to be at least 2000 years old, right? I don't think a lot of Beyonders make it to old age, so they die of old age. I think they just, you know, always try to advance. Except like old Neil, for example, he didn't try to advance. He was quite old, but he still died to, you know, being manipulated and losing control. Yeah. I mean, if Asik is Death's, I think I have it written down as well. If Asik is Death's son, let me open the notes. Is he gonna be the next Sequence Zero maybe in the future? Because that spot is empty right now, and as we know, there can only be one Sequence Zero. I wonder now, was Death defeated or just like sealed or imprisoned? It should have been smarter for other gods to, you know, imprison or seal other gods so they can't be replaced, because there's a hard cap of how many people can be Sequence Zero, which is literally one. Asik. Actually, I don't have it written down. I should write it down then. Asik is Death's son. There we go. Monocle is spoiling again? What the fuck? Permission to dime him out for the rest of the stream. Sorry, Monocle guy. I don't trust Monocle people, man. Improved him based on folklore. Oh, that poor black cat made the goddess bless you. Glenn resisted the urge to throw Crimson Moon on his chest. What else he pressed? Because, you know, probably like they had to sacrifice the black cat, but they didn't do it, right? Yes, and the copper whistle, I think it's key to communication with the world beyond our senses. Kabutsky raised and blew at it, sighing. Every time I finish blowing on it, I can feel the surrounding turn cold. It's someone is watching me and tugging me. Because it works, right? It's like you control like spirits with it or something. And like death and like corpses. While I was speaking, Klein, who had spirit vision activated, he saw water patterns ripple out from the ground. A cold air spread out alongside it, and the fire and light dimmed a little. Oh, I see. Okay, so it actually is manipulating the spirit world, right? Maybe they can kill the god and take over the limitation ingredients. Interesting, by the way. That's actually an interesting thing you say. Yeah. But because, you know, imprisoning and sealing a god is also dangerous, right? It's not like, oh, it's the ultimate fix to, you know, getting rid of a god, because they can just break out somehow, right? Because aren't they, like, they are so fucking strong that they can probably, like, I don't know, like, create meteors from thin air or some shit like that, right? So probably it's easy, maybe it's too easier to kill them because it's hard to get to Sequence Zero. That's a good idea, actually. Fuck. Hopeland, are you a novel reader, by the way? Did you spoil me? But that's a really good point, because it's not always easier to imprison them. Also, there's also a ritual to advance from like higher sequences, so my theory is like from Sequence 1 to Sequence 0 as like a death path where you have to, like, I don't know, sacrifice and do a genocide of like a whole continent or something like that. Oh yeah. Okay, let's keep going. They sealed the true crater. Yeah, true. Also, the hidden sage doesn't have a form, like a physical body, right? But he's still out there. It was said that the True Gather was sealed by the gods, yeah. But True Gather is washed up, not gonna lie, guys. True Gather is washed up. Other gods might have more aura and strength, no? Next, the skull with... Oh, next, the skull with three protruding, unfocused eyes emerged from the ground. Around the skull were many black joint tentacles. A tentacle reached out, touching Kaputsky's leg, and dogged at his clothes from time to time, appearing rather impatient. However, Kaputsky didn't respond at all, as though he hadn't noticed. Is a messenger? The copper whistle is used to summon their corresponding messengers. Oh, but like Kaputsky doesn't realize, because bro, it's not a Beyonder, right? This is all information you have. There will only be one god, so the ingredients required are limited. Only one will prevent assassination for good. Yeah, true, but like when you like bring that up, it's like you're like leading me with clues. But I think like what you said is acceptable, though. Like you are stirring up discussion and not confirming anything. Yeah, true. So he not seeing the spirit world, by the way, that means he's not a beyonder. So you know, Kapusky is a fraud. It's just you know, he enjoys mysticism for the love of the game. At that moment, Kapusky looked at him excitedly. Did you feel it? The surrounding turned cold. The gas lamps have dimmed too. I'm not lying. Someone is watching me and tugging at me. The horrifying-looking messenger tried to touch Kapusky over and over again, but in the end he didn't receive the letter and went back underground in resignation. The corners of Klein's mouth twitched slightly as he saw this scene. He whispered to himself in his heart, I take back what I said about him. He's not a rookie, he's an utter noob. Bro called him a noob! Bro called him an utter noob. That's crazy. He's not even a beyonder. Yeah, he's a civilian, bro. I had thought that he was someone who had just stepped through the door of mysticism to learn the basics, but now it seems like he wasn't even found the location of the door. Corpse collector of death sequence path, we can see ghosts and spirits bodies directly, but he can't even see that. Combined with how Kaputski had acted by using the copper whistle to summon the zombie after ritual, Klein was convinced that he wasn't lying. He sighed silently. Then he thought, we can use him maybe. Can we use him? Wait, he doesn't have anything we can use though. We can't really manipulate him or do anything with him. He's useless to us. Then he thought of a question. If I were to write a note and hand it to the messenger, where would it be delivered? Good question. A true member of the numinous episcopate, some senior member. Pressing this thought, Klein nodded and said, it has indeed turned cold. After replying, he quickly changed the topic. Have you felt anything unusual since the old gentleman's death? I'm guessing whatever the old gentleman was in communication with, maybe. Hello, I'm new to the channel. What is he reading? 4 times banned by a Aindu, by the way. Can we use him? Aindu supports slave labor. No. I support Klein, you know, getting revenge on Ints. And after we get revenge on Ints, we can go back to real world. He can go back to his software engineering job. W, right? After applying, he quickly changed the topic. Have you felt anything unusual since the old gentleman's death? Not before, but in the last 2 weeks, I have the occasional feeling that someone around me is like a corpse, the kind of that can be awoken. Kaputski asked, feeling both curious and afraid. Is it a hallucination? It's in the line with what Adol said, isn't lying. Klein stole a glance at the colors of Kaputski's aura and sincerely told him, I suggest that you go to cathedral at least 3 times a week for the next few months, attend mass and listen to preachings. If you do not wish to do so, you can first prepare a grave for yourself. Alright, Kaputski answered, feeling disappointed. He thought that it was a manifestation of his improvement. Klein contemplated for a moment and said in a commanding tone, take me to the old gentleman's corpse. Ooh, interesting. Oy. Okay. Kaputski was about to refuse. But then he instantly recognized the reality of the situation he was in. Yeah, because imagine someone breaking into your house, like you don't even hear any noise, sits on the opposite of you, locks in like this. Like, you have no word in this, buddy. He picked up his tools and let Klein out the back door from the kitchen into a withered garden and stopped in front of a standard tree. Klein stood by his side and watched Kaputski skillfully dig through the dirt, revealing the slate underneath. Having finished with the upper layer, Kaputski used his tools to pry open the slate. Oof! The slate was pressed against the soil that had been dug out moments ago. The not so deep doom was veiled in the crimson moon luster that faintly penetrated through the clouds. Oh, it's has a crimson moon luster on it. Kaputski subconsciously looked over when he suddenly let out a miserable scream. He retracted a few steps and fell on the ground. No, it's not there anymore. Oh, Lord of Mysteries exams. I'm uploading that video tomorrow, by the way. Or not tomorrow. I'm uploading that video this week. I did an exam at the end of Volume 1. There was no rotting corpse or bones in the tomb. The bottom layer was littered with white feathers dyed in yellow oil. Oh. The bottom layer was littered with white feathers. As in, like, did bro turn into a bird? They were dyed in yellow oil. What the fuck? Someone broke him out, maybe? But why would it be dyed in yellow oil, though? And why would there be feathers? After you started blowing on the thing, maybe? Oh shit. Interesting. By the way, I'm just guessing that the old man was part of the Numius episcopate, and maybe because he was really old, right? And probably maybe the other members of the episcopate were looking for him, so they maybe dug up his grave. But where the fuck is he though? And why did he like go away from his order? Was he like, did he escape the Numius episcopate? Did he do something wrong? Did he took something from them? Why are there feathers? Find out tomorrow. By the way, I am going to stream every day this week, except for Saturday. So we're streaming on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And we're gonna try to go halfway, by the way. We are 34% done with Volume 2. I wanna go halfway before Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is on the 14th. Fuck, 15th then. Anyway. Yeah, on the 14th I'm busy, guys. I have a date. I have a date on the 14th. You can ask about it if you want. But yeah, we are coming back tomorrow. And I want to know what the fuck's happening. I think it's, like, my theory so far is, there is some, I don't think the old man got resurrected, by the way. I think someone from the Numinous Episcopate came, dug him up. Because, you know, why was he there? Why was he being homeless? You know what I mean? Maybe he escaped. Also, yeah, in this week, also, I'm uploading the finale to Volume 1, finally. And then I'm uploading 2 exams as well. Anyway, bye-bye, guys.